Hey everybody, this is Joseph Peisich and welcome to the Fired Up Network. Welcome to the World Cup update match day number 8, Sunday. We did not do one yesterday because Carmen was supposed to be shaving, but I don't know. He didn't shave, he did shave, he got squished a fish, he got Miami won, whatever. What a day in sports today. All right, what a day. I'm gonna start off with the positive, not the negative, Carmen. Let's give it to Team Canada, world champions in the Davis Cup. In the Davis Cup, yes, Carmen, you showed with Giancarlo here and Drew Ebanks. You showed that you know basketball. You showed you know hockey. Now, do you know a little bit of tennis?
Absolutely, the young North York boys did a
Yeah,
Shapovalov, and they did a number
Shapovalov.
today.
Yeah,
Shapovalov, and they're all North York boys. They're from the Bathurst Finch area, young and Finch area. They're a crew. It's congratulations to them. And they did it without their best player, who's
yeah,
probably still recovering from injury and downage. So kudos to them. They've got a great young core, even the female side, and congratulations. But that's sort of
congratulations.
secondary. That's sort of
And
secondary to what we're talking about.
no, hold on. It's not secondary. It's right tonight. Tonight, it's number one. All right, because I I, I gotta talk about Team Canada and Croatia. We're gonna start off this. Team Canada needed a win. They played very well against Belgium, and they lost 1-0. The coach and Carm, I'm not putting you into this. I'm going to go to Giancarlo here. The coach says we're going to F Croatia. We're going to F Croatia. Now, I don't have to tell you, Giancarlo, you watch hockey, you watch baseball. That's bulletin board material if there ever was when your coach who's supposed to lead by example. And me and Carm talked the day before. Do you agree with it or whatever? You know, in hindsight, I don't think he should have said it. I don't think he should have said it. But he said it. And first 2 minutes of the game, let's give it to Alfonso Davies, the first Canadian goal ever in World Cup history. That will go down November 27th, 2022. You remember where you were? Carmen was supposed to be shaving, but he wasn't. But that was the highlight of 36 years of waiting. Then, after that, the sky fell off. Giancarlo, you'll start us off. 4-1 Croatia. Go ahead.
Yeah, the first 2 minutes were amazing. It was a little after the minute mark. Alfonso Davies gets that cross from Buchanan, puts it in the net, and just some momentum. They're riding high. They have Croatia playing on their heels a little bit. And then once, like the 28th minute, I would say, 30th minute, they just looked like they were 2 steps behind Croatia. Like Atiba Hutchinson, I said this in the last game that I wouldn't have started him coming into today. I know he's a legend for Canada. I would have put him as the guy that comes off the bench when it's a crucial moment, like a 75th, and give you 25 hard minutes and be a guy that can slow things down. But you exposed your defense like that because Atiba Hutchinson got caught up a little too much up the field, and Kamal Miller's stuck there 2-on-1s, 3-on-2 situations. And then after just some of the substitutions, I thought Herdman mismanaged a little bit. If you have a guy that like Atiba Hutchinson was slowing down, I think Osorio should have started the game. Mark Anthony Kaye is another guy that you can bail some guys out at the back who can push up, get some shots here and there. Ugbo's on the bench. Like, I just think that he stuck too much with too many similar tactics that didn't work against Belgium, and it cost him in the end here against Croatia.
All right, Carm, your thoughts now as take us through the eyes of a coach here. When you're leading 1-0, the high. Okay, you let a goal 1-1, and then like in football or anything, you call a timeout, right? You see all the momentum's changing. Why didn't he regroup at halftime?
I mean, the, tactically, yeah, it's difficult for Eustachio and for Atiba to cover that much space against, Modric and Brozovic, and Kovacevic, they're just world-class players, and it was supposed to be a squeezed kind of midfield, kind of inviting them into wing channels where, Ali got isolated with Peisich a lot, and most of the times he did quite well. Obviously, on the tying goal, kind of unlucky, got made in the situation on that through pass. But it's just the team concept of defending. You see it from all the biggest countries in the world. You see France dropping into, to defend their box with 10 guys, 20 yards, 25 yards from goal. That needs to be a little bit more part of what we do. I know we're a good pressing team. I know that we create options we create attacking options off of our defending. But like we talked about earlier, we had to be a little bit more humble in our approach at times and drop into a low block. That's okay. I know a lot of the commentators were saying, "Oh, Canada's dropping off too much, keeping it in front of them." Well, no, that's the way you deal with moments. That's the way you deal with situations in the game. And Canada has a ton of pace to get forward in transition and match up. Like you looked at the goal that Canada scored. Did you see what the back four did right when Larin received the ball? They dropped 10 yards not to give up any space in behind. And incredible Bob run and ball by Tejan to finish. But you saw the respect that they had, the worry they had for Canada in those types of situations. And everyone's going to point at the back four for Canada who didn't do a good job or didn't close spaces early enough. But I think it's a team concept defending. I mean, before it gets to the back four, and just next games, watch the big teams. Watch how they defend in the low block. You saw it with Germany today. They defended with 9-10 guys, 20 yards from goal, and that has to be part of how we mature tactically. Yes, we can run, and Belgium didn't hurt us at all. Yes, we can get forward. Yes, we can press. But after they break that initial pressing, we have to get back in that low block. We didn't do a good job of it, and we weren't set, and our movement was kind of naive. But we got broken down a lot. Our back four got broken down, but it should have been a back nine getting broken down in those situations. So that's important. I think that's one thing where we can learn from and grow from. But let's, like you said, Joe, let's look at the positive. Fantastic first goal, first 2 minutes of the game. But the other part was it was a masterclass by Croatia. It was a masterclass by Croatia. They attacked the spaces where Canada is usually at their best. They went at Ali, but Ali was left alone because Tejan, as much as he is a good attacking player, didn't recover well defensively, even when the ball was on the weak side. It was Ali on his own a lot of times. They attacked Alfonso's space as well, and they played through the middle, but a lot of great one-touch combination. And you could see every combination, how that ball moved, where they were like, Canada kind of was like, okay, this is going to be not a fast sprinting game, but a fast-paced game with the ball. Quick actions, moving off the ball, third-man runs, four-man runs, late runs, all that stuff happened. And it was just, it was a question of, should we defended the ball or should we defended the man? They looked in between. They looked in between zonal defending or ball-oriented defending versus man defending. And if you're in between against a team like Croatia, who's, after they got scored on, there 10 minutes, they had 20 to 25 minutes in that first half of incredible football. Spanish-like football, but it was just ball moving, quick combinations. And they combined on their right wide areas and their left wide areas. And then they found action central, and then their strikers and their attacking players, their attacking three made good runs in behind, splitting runs in behind. So it was a naive performance by our group defending. I'm not talking about individuals, because individually I think Kamal, other than the last action, was fantastic. Stevie Vittoria, was good taking away spaces, but it shouldn't have got to the back four. It should have been a good block of 9. Or a block of 10 even, or 4-2-4 type situation in our defensive shape. And we're going to have to learn how to do that to compete with the bigger nations. And it doesn't matter how fast the balls move. It's we are in the spaces where the ball's going to go. That's the mentality that I didn't think, the naivety that we didn't see. And the ball movement was a masterclass. And we talked about this before. Croatia is the masters of managing games. 1-0 games, 0-0 games, and they're great in those moments they need to be. And they were good in those moments when they went down. And by the end of it, it was 2-1 up. And by the time they got through it, that was 25 minutes where Canada should have managed the game properly. And that's coming from learning. That's coming from our players learning what that means to manage the game, that we can't press for 90 minutes and a team that is so good on and off the ball. Sorry, I took a lot of time, but I think that it's a perfect lesson. And I hope our listeners understand the difference of, you look at France, you look at Giroud, where he's defending 20 yards from the goal, and Griezmann. That's a difference. That's not. People look at that and say, oh, you look at the Canadian women's team in the Olympics. Do you remember where their low block was? They had the ball 30% of the time and they won a gold medal. These are parts of the tactical, conceptual whole that our men's team have to learn. I don't think, and then we talked about it earlier, Giancarlo and Joe, that they have to be humble. That there's good players and there's good people without the ball, but they have to occupy spaces where that ball's going to go. And they didn't. And the Germans did it in Spain, if you watch that game. And
okay, well, we'll talk about that game here. You're going to piss me off already when you talk about Canada losing and now Spain blowing it. Come on. All right. Here, Carm, I'm going to give it to you here, first of all. In hindsight, I'm not trying to get you in trouble. In hindsight, Herdman, should he have said what he said? Because it looked like when they took a 2-1 lead, it looked like Croatia said, we're going to F these guys. We're going to F these guys. And who the F are these guys? Go ahead.
In hindsight and retrospective, yeah, I guess, because he used it in the coach and Karamich used it in the after game presser. But in the heat of the moment, that's all irrelevant. For Twitter and for Instagram and for people that want to use this as a tabloid event, yes, it was useful. But in the run of the game, it's what happens on the field that's the difference maker. For me, absolutely irrelevant. He said what he said. He owned up to it. Should he have said it? Maybe not. Was it the main reason they lost the game? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Did they use it after the game and said, "Oh, it motivated us"? Are you kidding me? Croatia was motivated regardless. Even if John Herdman said we have a ton of respect for these guys, they're going to beat us 4-1 before the game, they would have still come out with the same mentality. Come on, guys, this is ridiculous. Stop, you guys. I mean, I know we're
stop texting me this stuff. All right, so look.
There you go. We're not a tabloid. We're about substance on the show, Joe.
Yeah, congratulations to the Davis Cup Canadian team again. All right, so Carm, I'm gonna go with you and then Giancarlo here. Okay, match 3, Morocco. Morocco did what Canada wished they did, beating Belgium 2-0. All right, and Canada already is out. And if they want to have any pride, go out there and show we're going to build. Okay, we got our asses handed to us. We're going to go out and show the world in 2026 we're going to even be better than we are now. Or do they just, okay, well, it wasn't meant to be or whatever? As you're the coach, so I'm going to put you as Herdman there. How do you motivate this team when you know there's nothing really to play for, or is there something to play for?
Well, I mean, let's look back at how motivated team they are. Like, this is a motivated team. They're not going to go out there and go through the motions. That's for sure. They're a proud team. They're going to want to win this game. And hopefully they use some players. I mean, you question Atiba's fitness or his ability to start another game. Estacio, even you heard it with his mouth that his hamstring was sore. Hamstring was getting, because he was doing a lot of chasing, a lot of kind of different type of defending. But but there's a lot of players that are going to go out there with pride, and the Piets of the world, and the Mark Anthony's of the world, and the Cavallinis of the world, Anupo of the world and the Adekubi of the world who probably should get a shot. These guys had a massive influence on them getting to this World Cup. So let's not be like silly and think that this team's just going to throw this game away. These are great players and proud players, and the ability, not only they scored their goal, now they want to go out there and win a game. I think that's the carrot for them, and they match up well, very, very well with Morocco. And we said the same thing pregame, that Belgium needs to learn what they did against Canada, because Morocco's the same type of team. And they were a little more clinical. Zayich's action for the second goal as Zakaria was fantastic. Their first goal, like Belgium asleep. You question that. You question, the mentality of the Belgians. They look so complacent. They look so kind of going through the motions. And you heard Martinez down a goal 6, and he kept hearing relax. I'm not sure that was the right mentality when you have the group of 16 stage right in front of you. So now they've got to go get a result against a very tough Croatian team. Interesting, but Belgium has not been very good, and I'm not so sure that's what they are, because they haven't proved to be otherwise. And the one player that they had that could keep them in the game was poor today. Courtois on that first goal was, and they were just caught flat-footed.
Also scored a third goal. Remember, Morocco also scored a third goal that was called back.
Yeah, and a first. Yeah, in the first, it would have been a 1-0 lead. So, and the interpretation of that, and even the first goal they scored, it was kind of close. About him interfering with the keeper and all that stuff, and was his run offside. So, you know what? Unfortunately or fortunately, this game isn't black and white. There's the rules. It's how you interpret the rules of the game on the field in the moment. And VAR has done to be a little more precise, is the word. Is it in being precise? Is it always the fair option? I'm not so sure. Like you saw, Germany could have got a PK. Hits Busquets' hands. What is that? Is that they didn't give him a PK, but was that the fair, or was that the just?
No, it was fair. It was fair. And by the way, I'm going to go out on them. If John Herdman could do it, I can do it also. By the way, Carmen, I'm the president of the provinces of Canada. I spoke to I have family who are Moroccans here in North York, okay? Canada va ganar Thursday 2-1. 2-1 para Morocco or whatever. If you want, come at me, all right? Canada will beat Morocco 2-1. Don't blame me. Blame this guy, Giancarlo, right there. Do you agree with that, Giancarlo?
I never said that, so
No,
I'll go.
I'll show you the text. Go ahead, Giancarlo. Let's look at any thoughts here, what you wanted to say about Canada tonight or today's game, and look a little bit ahead to Thursday's game.
Yeah, just Carmen mentioned everything there. Like, this team has pride, so I don't think they're coming into the game with the mentality of just get a participation award and say, "Oh, we made it. Let's get our free photo op with the World Cup thing on it and go home." So I think they want to get 3 points, because that would separate them from the '86 World Cup team that didn't get a win. And this team wants to continue to make history. Like, Alphonso Davies gets a goal. I think it would be positive for just the national program as a whole. Like, all this drama with the CSB and CSA and all the players, if they can get a positive result, get a big win, and then return to Canada proud of their performance, I think it will put everything in motion for 2026 to get on the right foot. Maybe more sponsors will come on board, and they can continue that momentum. So I'd like to see them continue that. Maybe their defensive ability as a team, like Carmen said, I'd like to see that a lot more too. And maybe you'd have to add a different formation. Maybe go with another center back like right away and set the tone early for Morocco.
Thank you, Giancarlo Carmine Isacco. That's exactly what Carmen said. He just repeated it, short version, and all that. All right, Carm, back to you here. We touched on Canada. Is there anything else you want to say about the Belgium-Morocco game?
No, I mean, I thought Morocco was very, and the irony of all this, their subs scored 2 goals, and it was, their 4-1-4-1 defensive system. They were very patient going forward. They're very, very, very compact, and that's what created opportunities. I mean, they scored on a restart with Hakimi coming out, arguably their best player, and Ziyech finally showed why Chelsea paid so much to get him, and why he had done so much with Ajax. So I think that those 2 performances were fantastic. I think that the group defending performance, which was for me, didn't give Belgium anything. And I don't remember Belgium really testing the keeper that much, but it was a couple of shots point blank that he dealt with easily. But and Kevin De Bruyne, obviously you see the value of Manchester City for Kevin De Bruyne versus Kevin De Bruyne for Manchester City as well. Yeah. If you guys understand that, sorry, right. Man. Our audience, I know our audience is very intelligent, so they can process logical sequences. So
yes,
the importance of Manchester City for Kevin De Bruyne versus the importance of Kevin De Bruyne to Manchester City. You could see that. And Lukaku coming in, we'll see. They're gonna need him next game for sure.
All right, Giancarlo, anything you want to add about that game?
Yeah, just like Lukaku, they mentioned even on the broadcast, like he hasn't even played a competitive match, I think, since October. So that's asking a lot for him to come in like that. And having a World Cup at this time of year is going to be looking in the future. If they wanted to go in this format, depending on the location, like veteran players, guys that are over 30, maybe 32, 35 in that range, it's going to be a lot on them because some of them are in mid-season form, some are struggling, and it takes a long time for them to get back to 100% form, and we saw that with Lukaku. So I think it's going to probably change people's mind of whether a Winter World Cup is the right thing to go.
That's not going to happen in 2026. They're not going to play in snow. All right, so let's get to Carmen wants to piss me off even more. Let's get to Spain and Germany. All right, let's get to Spain and Germany. Carmen, go ahead. I'll give you the floor here. Spain leading 1-0. Germany tying it in the 82nd minute. I wanted Argentina to go home. They didn't go home. Messi comes up and scores yesterday. I wanted Germany to go home. Nobody wants to go home except Italy. They're home. Go ahead. See, you pissed me off. I have to go at it. Go ahead.
Why are you pissed off? I mean, the result was not that it was flattering. Rudiger was offside by a toenail, so it should have been 1-0 for Germany if he had an ounce of.
Now he's pissing me more off.
So, but I mean, Spain played a fantastic game. It's a very good team. But again, we talked about earlier, and the downfall maybe of a lot of teams is that number 9. That number 9. Spain brings in that number 9, and Morata had beautiful goal, beautiful action. Jordi Alba, great ball, but a great near post run. That wasn't happening without that number 9. And then Germany brings in, the big target from Werder Bremen, and he comes in and he occupies center backs, their back, at least 3 of the back 4, creates an excellent action, and Musa kind of by accident gets a fantastic assist and a great finish. So I think that the value, as much as we want to play, false nines and ball actions and ball movements, kind of like Spain was in the first game against a weak Costa Rica team, but not so weak now. They got a chance of qualifying.
We'll get to that in a second. Go ahead.
But I mean, that number 9 is for me so valuable. And when your number 9 doesn't play well, and unfortunately for Canada, their number 9 hasn't been good. Jonathan David hasn't been good, hasn't been clinical. And adding Kyle Larin in today helped a little, did well on the first goal. But I'm just saying that number 9 is key for me for this tournament. Now, will Lukaku make a difference? Batshuayi has been worse than average. Yes, he did get a goal, but he hasn't been good. And I think that role is kind of a lost. And you looked at Germany. Germany without that number 9. Mueller's been playing number 9, not a true number 9, more of a 10, more of the game in front of him. But yeah, these things for me are a massive difference. But when the number 9s came on for Spain, as much as they made 45,000 passes, that run to the near post, which is soccer 101, happened, and they scored a great goal. And you look at the number 9 influence of the tying goal in the 86th minute for Germany, from basically, a player that's in good form, good on Hans Flick. I thought he was arrogant in the first game against Japan in his substitutions, but I thought he was spot on in his substitutions this game. And a 1-1, you kidding me? And a game that played the way it was played.
No, man. I wanted a 7-0 win. I wanted a 7-0 win against Germany, man. I wanted a 7-0. Come on.
But Spain did what they needed to do. And, and Dani Olmo was very good again. Asensio playing as the 9, who's usually a 10, was definitely decent. And Busquets, probably double the age of the other 2 in front of him, has been solid. So, their 4-1-2-3 is, for me, in their top 5 with Jordi Alba getting forward. It's against a good German team, guys. Against a solid German team, it's a good result for Spain. It's a world-class game. I thought it was a world-class football match as far as the transitional actions. But I still think Germany's in tough. Even if they get by this round. I think Spain's quality and team play is what everyone else is trying to catch up to.
All right, so I'll ask Carmen, start off with Carmen, and then we'll go to Giancarlo here. You touched on it a little bit. In one match ago, Japan beats Germany. Spain destroys Costa Rica. Then Costa Rica 1-0 over Japan. I know if people don't know, we have new viewers, new listeners, because Canada's in the World Cup. They're just tuning into soccer and everything like that. And this is the beauty of sports. You don't know what's going to happen. Like, it's not scripted like Giancarlo's favorite sport, wrestling. All right? So, look, how in the blue hell do you go from beating Germany to losing to Costa Rica, who got their butts handed to them 7-0? 7-0 is like 21-0 in hockey. Go ahead.
I mean, I think it's management and strengths. I mean, they made 4 or 5 changes as well because of the approach of the game. But Japan is good when there's space in front of them to attack. They're a very direct team, going at you like they were against Germany on both goals, going at you direct, getting forward, getting numbers in transition. But but today they proved not to be a good team to break you down. They proved not to be a good team to quick combine and get opportunities, because the Costa Ricans did a fantastic job defending. And it's not like they, the midfield and the defensive third was very compact and solid for Costa Rica. But I believe, if I'm not mistaken, the goal they scored was their first shot on goal in the whole tournament. Yeah. So, efficiency, luck, you call it whatever you want. But Japan wasn't good enough in breaking down, their compact defense. And I still argue that Costa Rica is one of the least quality teams, but now they have a chance to get to the next stage. Obviously, it's a big ask, because Germany has different ways of beating you, and Japan was. You notice now that Japan is a very one-dimensional type team, which against Spain might hurt them. It's going to be transitional actions. It's going to get numbers forward. It's going to, when they get into the final third, it's going to be about pressing and keeping the ball there. And Spain looked a little susceptible, especially on goal kick restarts and the way they can be pressed on dead balls in their end as well. So these are strengths, and Japan may take advantage of those strengths. So they're going to see that. Germany, Simon made some good saves, especially the one where they gave away the ball off that goal kick. So, but that's Spain. They're going to try to play through those situations. So Japan has to be very good in pressing in those situations, especially dead balls, and then dealing with protecting their press when they get broken down and dropping in that block and exploiting those spaces that definitely the wing backs leave. No one's really exploited Laporte, his pace. He's looked very good. He's looked very fresh. No one's really exploited his pace, I would say. There's a lot to be said that Japan, if this game goes, and Japan in moments can be successful in transitionary actions. So that's why it's what the strengths of their team are. What the strengths of the team is. And Japan is a strong team, pressing in moments, protecting the pressing, but being a low block and going in transition. With their spaces in front of them, 1, 2 passes, 3 passes to get in behind, they're dangerous because they're quick and they're effective that way, just like they were against Germany.
All right, Giancarlo, anything you want to add?
Yeah, it's nice to finally watch a Germany game and enjoy it and not be disgusted at what I see on the sidelines. New coach means I don't need a disclaimer. I can actually maybe eat something when I watch a game. Not have to worry about the king of scratch and sniff Jurgen love over there on the side. So it's nice to finally enjoy a German soccer game. I'll leave it at that.
All right, and before we look to tomorrow's matchups, I want to touch on yesterday because I gave Carmen the day off. Argentina coming up big. Messi scoring the goal, 2-0 beating Mexico. Any of the matches you want to touch on? I'll start off with Giancarlo. Any of the matches you want to touch on from Saturday?
Yeah, we saw Messi and Argentina finally rebound because if they were to have been eliminated losing to Saudi Arabia and then losing again, I think they would never hear the end of it. So they took care of business against Mexico. I just think that they're not out of the woods yet. Looking at who they play last, I wouldn't already count my trip to the knockout stage. So I think there's still a lot to be played there.
All right, and go ahead, Carm.
Well, I think that I was happy to see again Poland. Poland is a team that's going to work on their efficiencies. They know, especially against Argentina, they know Argentina is going to have the ball 80% of the time, and that doesn't mean they're necessarily going to win it. But I think that they need to have which they do, a very pragmatic defensive game against Argentina where they get Lewandowski involved, they get their wide players involved, and they get opportunities off restarts. So this is going to be a very tough game, but no one wants to see Messi. No one wants to see Messi out of the World Cup, and it's going to come to those situations with Otamendi and Romero and how they defend Lewandowski and how they defend in those situations. But let's not kid ourselves. Argentina is going to have the ball 90% of the time. Poland is going to have to defend properly in their 5. They're going to have to take away spaces. It'll be almost a 5-4-1, and then their transition actions and getting forward in wide areas and getting into the final third quickly with Lewandowski holding it or Lewandowski creating something is going to be key for them. But it was nice to see, you saw a Saudi Arabian team, the first, I would say, 45 minutes were fantastic. I thought they were confident. They came out. They could have had a couple of goals. I think that they were very proactive. Obviously, that under 14 offside trap has kind of gone to the dust, and they were a lot more pragmatic. But I think that they're still not done with this. They're still not done with this, and then Mexico's in tough. Mexico's in tough against a top Saudi Arabian team. And I don't know, the Mexicans that Martino's getting it right. I know he put his hand up about his substitutions. I know that he thinks those substitutions really made a difference. and causing Mexico to actually lose that game. But I don't know. Again, it was a 50-50 match, and that's what Mexico wants. They created some actions, but again, Mexico is going to be in tough against Saudi Arabia. But who knows? 4 points might get them in there, and then we'll see what happens after that. But I'm as far as the quality of the game and I'd like to see Argentina and Poland go through. But lots to be said. And the Saudi Arabians, they're still going to be a really formidable opponent, and they could be one of those that sneak up on you because they were very good as well against Poland, other than situations that they didn't deal with. But that's the game. I know that's an old analogy, but it is the game.
All right, so Carm, I got great news for you. After tomorrow, I'm going to give you a little bit of a break. You don't have to wake up at 4:30 in the morning. You could shave, you could do whatever you want, because after tomorrow, all games will start at 10. All right, so you got a little bit of a break. I'll give you a little bit of a break. But tomorrow, 5 a.m., only Carmine Isacco is waking up for this game, because Giancarlo will be snoring faster than you could say Merry Christmas. It's Cameroon versus Serbia at 5. Start us off, Carm.
Yeah, again, it's going to be, maybe Vlahovic is fit to go for the whole game. It's going to be about his finishing. It's going to be about Cameroon's ability to defend them. It's going to be about Ayew getting forward and getting opportunities. Maybe they go with the two-striker system. So it's going to be an interesting game. The Serbians were okay. But it's going to be interesting to see how they deal with this situation. And it's a 50-50 for me. It's a 50-50. And the Serbians have to be good in possession of the ball, have to dominate the game, but also need to defend in transition and need to be less kamikaze and more controlled in their approach. Unlike their first game where they were a little kamikaze, a little bit late to situations, they looked a little bit unprepared.
All right. So who you got in that match? And then we'll go to Giancarlo.
I think Serbia finds a way to pull it through. Vlahovic or Mitrovic finds a way to get a goal. It's going to be a kind of a low block for Cameroon. Again, what this European team and the European players are used to.
All right, Giancarlo, who you got in that? And then you'll start us off with the second match. So who you got in Cameroon, Serbia?
Yeah, I think it's going to be somewhere where Serbia is going to get finishing touches. I think a set piece is going to win them the game. I see probably like a corner is where they'll get their goals from. I see 2-0 comfortable result for them.
All right, 8 a.m., Giancarlo, you'll start us off. Korea, Republic, and Ghana.
Yeah, I like Ghana's chances actually in this. I know the first game was a little hit and miss for a lot of teams, but I think they could turn things around here against Korea, and might be an upset for. I think some people think Korea might win this, but I got Ghana winning it 1-0.
1-0, Giancarlo.
1-0.
All right, Carm, go ahead.
I like the Koreans this game. I like their mentality. I like their ability to manage games. And I think Ghana's going to have trouble finding goals in this tournament. So I'm going to say 1-0, 1-0 or 2-0 for the Koreans.
Oh my God, this guy.
And Son gets his goal. Son finds his goal for his first World Cup goal.
Wait, I can't show favoritism. I don't care. You're a coach. It's 1-0, not nothing. Come on. All right. So
it's like football. It's soccer.
Well, at 11 o'clock, probably the match of the day, Brazil, Switzerland. Start off with Giancarlo in this one. Go ahead.
Yeah, even without Neymar, I see Brazil winning all their group stage games. It probably won't be as dominant, but I see their attack being more than enough to find a way around Switzerland, who's going to be pressing and making things difficult for the first half. But I think second half, they open things up, and that's when they start to score their goals.
And what's the score?
I think it's going to be similar. Let's see a 3-1 result for Brazil.
He's getting smarter at least. Okay, Carm, go ahead.
Yeah. I think the Swiss were very well organized. I think they put in a very or a proper plan together. I think they'll be prepared against the Brazilians, but I just don't think they have enough quality, technical quality, but their tactical quality got them through the first game for sure. And against Ghana with Mbolo's, ball from a Shaqiri. But I think that the Brazilians are a different breed. And even with Neymar out and whoever comes in, I think it's going to make a difference, whether it's Richarlison becoming the 10 and Jesus coming in. I think that they have too many weapons that are going to be difference makers. And I think they have the pragmatism to deal with Paqueta and Casemiro. They have the shape to deal with anything that Switzerland may throw at them. But Switzerland just doesn't have enough quality. And Shaqiri, who did really well last game, just I don't think he's the guy that pulls strings is good enough. But so I see in lieu of saying 0 or 0, I'll give Switzerland a goal and say 3-1.
See, you guys are getting too smart on me. Here, I'll give you a chocolate bar from Swiss. All right, so 2 p.m. the final matchup of the day. Carmine will start us off. Portugal and Uruguay. Portugal, Uruguay.
Fantastic game. What a game. That's the one I'm marking on my must-see list. I think Uruguay is going to find another level of intensity, another level of competitiveness. I think they're going to be a little more direct. I think they're going to be a little more difficult in dealing with, because that group can be a very nasty group. And I think that the Portuguese are going to have some trouble dealing with that nastiness, and it'll be interesting to see. It'll also be interesting to see the changes, whether Cavani's in there from the beginning or how they line up differently. So that's one for sure I want to see. I'm saying Uruguay 1-0, but there is
hold on. Giancarlo, look at Giancarlo's face when you said what you said.
1-0. But Leao is, for me, they're not going to start. They're worried about his defense. They'll start him. But, if I have a Leao on my team, I'm playing him 90 minutes every game because he's so dangerous going forward. Is Octavio the more reliable player? Probably. But if Portugal gets through this one, they'll qualify for the round of 16. So it's a big one. It's a big one, and I think Uruguay knows that as well. After a lackluster tie, I think that they come out and find a way to win this, because I do like the Uruguayan intense. I like the Uruguayan character and mentality.
Okay, Giancarlo, I know number 7 is going to be brought up in your thing, so go ahead.
Yeah, number 7, Ronaldo. We saw these reports there about Messi being close to a massive move to Inter Miami and X amount of millions of dollars going his way. So I wouldn't be surprised if tomorrow morning we see Ronaldo's camp drop some little feelers out there, naming whatever team, saying that they're interested in him, because it's like fuel to him. Can't help himself. Gets the ego going and motivates him for the game. And I think because of that, he'll have a big performance, and he's going to score the winning goal in a 2-1 win for Portugal.
And wait, Giancarlo's going to start us off here, Harm. He's going to say that Toronto FC is making a bid for number 7, right? Gary Roberts
would not be surprised. Wouldn't be surprised.
Roberts, right?
Yeah, for sure. And Bill Manning, Ronaldo said he liked that Jordan Peterson guy from that controversial ex-professor, podcast host, whatever. Bill Manning, make the call, shake some hands, get Ronaldo to TFC, new DP, make MLSC come in, big money move. Makes sense.
Listen.
That was fantastic, Carl. That sounded like a rap.
Hold on. If he's going to be on this stupid tribe of everything, Bill Manning shake some hands, shake the president of provinces of Canada hand, and nothing against Bradley, but you need a better coach. You need a better coach, a tactical coach, a pragmatic coach, and that is Carmine Isacco, whose lights went out there because he doesn't pay the Rogers bill. All right, that's it. All right, basic. Have you been in touch with Bill Manning?
No.
All right. No, no. But listen to me. If somebody, honestly, I know you love York University. You're headmaster coach. There's plaques, there's awards, there's everything like that. If somebody comes to you, seriously, I know you don't want to touch on it, but I've always wanted. Marty Roberts wants me to ask you this and all that. If somebody contacts you in MLS or whatever, would you consider moving even?
Joe, Giancarlo, how long have we been on this show? Long time, right?
Minutes.
Yeah.
No, not just now. Like it's been a few years, huh?
Yeah.
Have I gotten any offers?
Listen, because seriously, you have gotten calls. You have gotten calls.
I appreciate your support. There's a lot of good people out there. There's a lot of good coach, and Bob Bradley is an excellent, proven coach as well. So let's and there's a lot of changes in the CPL. We might hear of a new change and a new coach at Halifax, which is close to home and well deserved if it does come to fruition. But a lot of changes in the CPL. Well, a lot of changes in CPL. I mean, we'll see. But some good news coming up as far as a new coach at Halifax probably. But Joe, I appreciate your support.
All right, hold on. I did not only say MLS. Vancouver Canucks are in the mood for a new head coach. Bruce Boudreau is probably going to be out. All right, he has, Carmine Isacco talked about hockey. Give him a chance. Rutherford is now running the deal in Vancouver. Give him a chance. And you know what? Nick Nurse, God love him and all that, he's got many assistants. Put Carmine Isacco as the assistant coach. For that matter, you know what? Drew Ebanks of On Point Basketball needs to be replaced. The guy's 70 years old. Giancarlo, don't you think Carmine Isacco could be on point on location?
He is on point and on location right now.
Right. All right.
Yeah, and this is just gonna add three more years. You just talk this way to keep me here. That's it. Then we're gonna go.
So okay, we'll close it out here. We'll close it out with Team Canada. Unfortunately, another loss, 4-1. How do you think? Forget whether they win or lose. Are you right now, Carmen? I'll start with you. Are you disappointed on how they've fared these two matchups?
No, there's nothing disappointed about this. I mean, I know John Herdman's going to take a lot of slack, but he put this group together. He had a lot of faith in a lot of players a lot of players that never got the opportunity. He did amazing things. He went to Azteca and tied a game he should have won. He beat the Mexicans and the U.S. Come on, stop. Let's put things in proper perspective here. They're going to give him crap for what he said. All that is irrelevant to me. They're there. They've had an opportunity to win both games. They were winning in one game. There's going to be an opportunity for a lot of these guys. You already saw Alistair Johnson pretty much seal a deal for Celtic, going into a proper, the Scottish Premiership. Hopefully, a move from there after a couple of years, because. So these are all positive things. You saw, you add the value of a Kamal Miller. Hopefully he's going to be linked with a move. All these things, everything that happened through this World Cup and through the inspiration and the management of John Herdman has been fantastic. It's been just positive. And again, this performance and what they're doing in now is it's gonna be a big stepping stone for 2026. Getting players like Alistair Johnson into bigger leagues or Kamal Miller into bigger leagues, and Eustáquio. Without the national team, you think Eustáquio, who was once playing in the third division of Portugal, without the performances without John Herdman believing in Eustáquio, do you think he'd be playing for Porto right now? So we got to look at big picture stuff. There's nothing negative about what's happening here. This is all positive. And to where we were, whatever it's been, 30 whatever years, to where we are, this is a massive transition. But the onus is on the CSA to make sure that we continue this. The onus is on the CPL and MLS and teams like Vancouver and Toronto to keep promoting young Canadians. In Montreal to keep promoting players like Ishmael Kone, who's hopefully on the move as well. Promoting players like Alistair Johnson and Kamal Miller, and all kinds of players. We have the most players playing MLS in the World Cup right now. So the MLS has been an amazing positive. Hopefully to get these. There's nothing negative about what's happening. Yes, we need to talk about this because we're analysts. Yes, we need to talk about how they could have done better or should have done this. But you know what? Canada's being exposed, and nothing negative is being exposed here, guys. We went there. We did an admirable job, a very good job against Belgium, and the game itself was ours. The performance itself was a victory. Obviously, it's not about performance; it's about winning and losing. But in everyone's eyes, when we look back at this in 2-3 months, we're going to say, "Hey, this was so important for our game." But it's what happens from this that what means a lot as well. How the momentum continues, how the CSA continues this momentum. How we take lessons from the women's game, right? Because the women's game, the way they perform in the seniors, is not translating to what's happening in the U20s and U17s. Let's take heed of what's going on, and let's make sure that we find solutions to everything. But nothing here on the men's side is negative by any means. This is all positive, and we're all going to see this. And I have a fantastic feeling that against Morocco, after the Morocco game, we're going to feel much better about it. And
I guaranteed victory. I guaranteed victory. First of all, that is the best point you have ever made in the 3 years that you're here. I want to shake your hand. I want to be humbled here. That was the best point you made in the 3 years that you have. Other people should take. Giancarlo, shake his hand. What are you doing? Shake his hand. That was a great point. All right, Giancarlo, you're a youngster. All right, yeah, now you weren't around 36 years ago, all right? When Carmen was a great stud. You should see, no offense, I'm going to get you in trouble here. You should see all the girls was around Carmen at Market Lane, Giancarlo, man. Oh my God.
Carmen must have been like 8 years old 36 years ago.
No, maybe about 12. Come on. About 12. All right. So Giancarlo, take me through. I'm saying Canada's going to beat Morocco, okay? Take me through Thursday. The game's Thursday, 10 a.m. After Thursday, how would you feel after a win? We had a great. They lost the first match. They outplayed Belgium, let's face it. Tonight or today, disappointing. And then Thursday, I believe we're going to leave on a high. You know what I mean? We're going to leave on a high. So you're the youngster. How are you going to feel after Thursday?
Yeah, just still happy with it. Like I think Carmen mentioned there, like John Herdman, what he's done, he's got players like to commit to the program at a young age, and we don't hear so much of it like when they're 25, 26, when they get to that point, like, oh, maybe I'll play for Jamaica or maybe I'll play for this other country, like Owen Hargreaves. Like he could have played for Canada. He didn't play for Canada. He took the better offer. I don't think a lot of people blame them in hindsight, but looking at a guy like right now, like Tomori could have been playing for England. He's at home right now. I bet he's watching Canada play, and he could have been on there easily. He would have been the starting center back. And he's probably thinking to himself, you know what? Maybe if I stuck out and maybe gave Canada a chance, I'd be at a World Cup right now instead of sitting at home and hoping for an England call-up. So I think in the future, it's going to change a lot of players' mentality of committing to the program because they've seen proven success and they know there's an example that they can actually play at this level and compete with the best in the world.
All right, so Giancarlo, you'll start us off. Tell everybody how they could get a hold of you.
Yeah, follow me on Twitter, John_411, Instagram, Giancarlo_Aulino. Check out my recent article on firedupnetwork.ca and check out my MMA news articles on sportskeeda.com.
All right, and Carm, any last
Nobody
words?
called me because of you, Joe. He called me.
Who cares? You don't want to be contacted by these internet trolls, man. Oh, hold on. Oh, Jennifer Lopez.
Marty Roberts with a comment.
Yeah, Jennifer Lopez. Okay, Giancarlo, close off the. Jennifer Lopez contacted me. She's divorced again. Oh no, she's married again. Sorry. All right, Carmen. Now, looking through the World Cup, 8 days in. This is match day 8. Okay, nobody's talking about Qatar, like not the team, the whole atmosphere and all that. Once you play football, you play football. It doesn't matter the atmosphere. Or is there stories that are going to come out about Qatar?
Well, I mean, right now the Qatarian government and everything that's happening in Iran is just disheartening. That's the sad part of everything right now for me. But and if you see what's going on a daily basis, it's just sad. But this is football. The whole world is there. The whole world is together in the cause. This isn't about hooliganism. This is about the game that's united people for hundreds of years. And the whole world is in Qatar, and that's just a fantastic story in itself. And it's not the stories, it's all the individual stories that you're going to hear when you get back about the people they've met, about the relationships they made, about apparently there's a lot of alcohol flowing there as well. So all that stuff was basically for Twitter and for TV. But all those stories that are going to be told, and all that passion that people that have never been to a World Cup that have felt is going to be just incredible, and it's different worldly. I mean, I use the example of when I first saw the Swiss Alps, and that was awe breathtaking. I think that the World Cup is at a different level of all that. It's a different level of emotional grandioseness. So it's hard to explain with words, especially with someone as dumb as me. But I think that the World Cup and the whole world is there, and that explains everything. The whole world is in one place for one event.
And
England and Wales fans already scrapping in the streets, so maybe that's not the best thing that they're all there. The whole world.
The whole world's there, but you know what? We are world champions. Congratulations to Team Canada, Davis Cup champions. And don't forget, Carmen alluded to this a little bit earlier on. World Cup, Women's World Cup next year. And the men took the notion from the ladies when they were champions and all that. We're expecting big things from the ladies also. We can't forget the ladies and men. It's almost instant turnaround for Canada. And I said it to you last show. For once, we can all say that Canada is not a nation of hockey only. We won a basketball NBA title. And in soccer, it's like you said, the world's there. The world is taking notice. The world took notice on the first match with Belgium, saying, who are these guys? We're going to be there. We're going to win Thursday. The president of the provinces of Canada guarantees it. If I'm wrong, Marty Roberts will come on and shave Giancarlo's hair. That's how confident I am. All right? Stay tuned for more great programming here on the Fired Up Network. Have a great weekend, or what's left of the weekend. We'll be back here tomorrow. Thanks a lot, Carmen and Giancarlo.
Thanks.